could have guessed that Superman's most daunting villain wouldn't be Lex Luthor or Brainiac, but rather PlayStation and the internet? Who could have imagined that the grade 3 demographic would be thoroughly uninterested in reading about the exploits of the uncanny X-Men, although quite keen to spend hours glued to an Xbox? Faced with the onslaught of new media, comic book publishers have been hammered by declining readership in recent decades. In 1996, industry icon Marvel Comics was actually forced into bankruptcy, and like other print properties, comic book sales continue to nosedive. But holy irony, Batman, the ancillary spin-offs from superhero comic books, TV shows, movies, video games, licensed merchandise, those are all billion-dollar industries. Yet the medium that spawned it all is no longer nearly as relevant to its original target audience, children. Even so, the comic book industry is metaphorically donning a cape and fighting back. Its main weapon, a marketing device borrowed from the packaged goods industry, the freebie. Thus, last Saturday was the latest installment of Free Comic Book Day. Comic book shops across the continent handed out more than 2 million complimentary comics in order to gin up readership. Now, I fully applaud the drive to get kids to read anything these days, and I grew up devouring comic books, so I'd love to see them make a comeback. But have you ever checked out the comic book racks these days, folks? Alas, the comic book milieu, like so many other facets of life, has become beholden to that unique brand of kryptonite known as political correctness. In recent years, many comic book characters have been reimagined. At Marvel, the mighty Thor is now a woman. Insert joke here about being mighty sore. Spider-Man is a black Hispanic, and Miss Marvel is now a Muslim, although Muslim light, given she doesn't sport a burqa or hijab. Still, reimagining Miss Marvel as a Muslim was a progressive home run. The character's creator, Sana Amanat, actually received an audience from President Obama in March. Meanwhile, over at DC, there's a couple of relatively new Green Lanterns donning emerald spandex and power rings. There's a gay Green Lantern and a Muslim Green Lantern. I'm not sure if there'll be a crossover storyline involving the gay lantern and the Muslim lantern because, well, that might not go so well. Oh, by the way, the social engineers at DC really goofed out with the Muslim Green Lantern. His forearms are festooned with tattoos. Tattoos are strictly haram in the Muslim faith, as body art effectively changes a creation of Allah. Wow, this business of being politically correct isn't so easy, eh, folks? Granted, there were early attempts by comic book publishers at becoming more diverse back in the 70s, but today those efforts seem more like pandering. For example, it became downright goofy that for a while every new black superhero had the word black as part of his name, such as Black Goliath and Black Lightning. But why? We can see their skin color. Surely just plain old Goliath and Lightning would have sufficed. After all, that guy in the red jumpsuit isn't called Caucasian Daredevil. But at least the thought was there. Indeed, I wholeheartedly agree that the comic book world has done a really bad job over the decades when it comes to diversity. Heck, every single superhero depicted in my decades-old Friends of Old Marvel poster is white, or they were white before they mutated into the orange-colored Thing or the green-hued Hulk. How could the writers and artists have been so colorblind? But instead of changing the race and sex of established iconic characters, why not introduce new and interesting female and non-white characters, or at least pay more attention to developing the cool and diverse characters that already exist, such as Black Panther and Luke Cage? As it stands now, the comic book universe seems to be caving into those whiny social justice warriors who demand change simply for the sake of change. Subscribing to this way of thinking might be politically correct, but it doesn't necessarily make for compelling storylines. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.